Hi, this is the last one. This is not the last video, but this is episode 5, okay, of this particular series, The Five Foxes in the Vineyard. And this one here is the mandatory nursery, okay? So I'm not going to delay this one any longer, so let's just talk about it. Hi, I'm Eunice. It's Eunice again. Oh, yes, let's take it. Hi guys. Okay, let's start this intro video. Now the pastor's wife, hers was intimacy. So he let me go to a conference where Colossians 3. Thank you so much for those that decided that they want to watch this one, which is the mandatory nursery. Now, this one right here. Now, remember, if you recall, in one of the other episodes, we were talking about mandatory youth ministry, and my son. So in doing so, it did make us think about. So what about our little kids? So with our son, but now we have smaller kids. We have a 4-year-old, and we also decided too with the 4-year-old that she would not go to the Sunday school class. Now her Sunday school class, I should say, for her age, she would actually be in my Sunday school class, and my son, he would be in my husband's Sunday school class. Okay, now I was teaching teenagers, okay, and I was going to try to figure out how that's going to work with a 4-year-old or 5-year-old in my class, and how was I going to handle that, right? And with the girls that I had in my class, and we were going to be thinking about that because she was not going to be in the little kids Sunday school class. One reason is, once again, it has a lot to do with who was teaching the class, and who was teaching the class at the time was the pastor's daughter. Okay. Once again, I was not impressed by her style of teaching. So, so being a teacher and being as picky as a person as I am, it was important that I wanted to build upon what I was doing. Okay. It just makes sense, right? So it was nothing, I was going to say it was nothing personal against her. It wasn't anything personal against her, but it was most definitely her teaching style, what I seen, I was not impressed. Okay. It is not something because when you are fully trained, you're going to be like your teacher. Okay. So I didn't want her to be picking up her habits, because I'm gonna tell you too, I was already struggling with the grandma, because I'm like, oh, the grandma is spoiling my daughter, and how am I going to fix this? Right. So, but just to say, I have a great mother-in-law. Okay. So the grandma is great. And my mom was great grandmother too, who is now home with the Lord now. So she died several years ago. So she died the year that Alicia was born. The baby was born, my 3-year-old now, or our 3-year-old now. So, but yeah, so I was just struggling with the whole, like here, it's my responsibility to raise these kids. So it was, I was just dealing with that, right? So it would make sense that I didn't want her in her class. I did not want her in that class. Okay. So like I said, nothing personal against the girl. And at that time I would have been ready to talk about it. Okay. I would have been ready and be able to articulate better, and hopefully by the grace of God. Oh yeah. I probably was going to offend her. She was going to be offended, because she would have took it way too personal. And I guess too, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it too, because I had some kids taken out of my Sunday school class because they told their mother that I was just too hard. Okay. So I wasn't their style of teaching either. So, what goes around comes around type of thing. So, which was fine. So I'm just thinking about it now. And so that would have been okay. But I did end up talking to the mother who took the kids out of my class, and she did regret it. Okay. So just to say that. But let's get back to this mandatory nursery thing. Okay. So me and my husband was kind of struggling with that whole thing. So let me tell you some things that was going on in the nursery. These were things where, because we were struggling with the whole, because it was mandatory, right? We're at a church, you have church rules. How far do you take it, right? Because okay, do I obey God or do I obey man? Okay, because we are really leaning toward the discipleship of our kids. We want them to know how to worship God in the sanctuary, because we were also we worked the children's church. Okay, so at the church they do have a children's church, Sunday morning children's church, and we work at Fifth Sunday. We were down there, and this is really where we decided, oh no, we do not want our kids in this mess. Okay, this is where we decided that. Now, and one of the reasons why is you would have a child who's 4 years old, 5 years old, however age they come down there. And those kids are so sweet. They so obedient. They just excited to be down there, to be involved. But then you have the 12-year-olds, the 10, 11, and 12-year-olds. They bad. They know exactly the rules, and they break all of them though. But they know how much we can do against them. So they begin to train the younger kids to be bad. Okay? And so now we're dealing with behavior. We're totally creating hypocrites down here, because we're like, you need to act better in church, right? And not trying to deal with their hearts. So here we are with these kids, training them to be professional hypocrites. So when they become adults, they can be hypocrites. They'll know how to act, how to sound in church, but they won't know God. Okay? So, and then youth ministry is all about, it's wrapped around the kids. It's so self-centered. Really? Self-centeredness? We even asked some of the kids, why do you think you're down here? Because we can't understand what's going on up there. Yeah. So they're not even going to rely on the Holy Spirit. We as believers, this is a takeaway. I'm taking away right now. Let's get a takeaway right now, just in case some of you don't want to listen to the whole video. The Holy Spirit is what illuminates us, illuminates our mind, open up God's word to us, helps us to understand. Okay? And that preacher is supposed to be shepherding the whole flock of God. That includes the kids. Okay? So he brings up this youth ministry that basically is segregating the church. It's fragmenting the church. Those young people down there don't even get to even grow up with the old people. The old people don't even know them. And sometimes the old people are scared of them. So let me back up, because I'm supposed to be dealing with the nursery. But let's talk about this one more thing, and then I'll back to the nursery. And hopefully we won't run out of time. So, because when I first got to the church, there were some teenage boys there running the church. Maybe I shouldn't say they was running the church, but people were scared of them. They could do anything and act up at church, and nobody was getting on to them. It upset me. So I began to pray for wisdom, and I picked the one and began to use him to help me regulate the rest of them. Okay? Now, but these are kids that were actually in youth ministry. Okay? This is the youth ministry church kids now in the sanctuary, because they're teenagers. And they wreaking havoc in the church. Okay? So, hey, somebody bring me my charger, please. It's in the bedroom, I think. Bring it out of the bedroom. So, this laptop is going to die. So, anyway. Now, so they were product of the youth ministry. And those boys were so bad. Okay? That should have been a clue. But now, let's get back to the mandatory nursery. So, basically, one time, one incident that happened in the nursery was, hey, is somebody bring my power cord? Elizabeth! Can you bring my power cord out the bedroom, please? Excuse me for hollering. I should have warned you, right? Just in case, right? But anyway, so I went there to check on the kids. I forgot why. And I think I was just contemplating. I was like, I don't want my kids in the nursery anymore. I'm ready to take them out now. I don't know what I was doing. But because my husband, we still hadn't decided. We were trying to figure that out. We hadn't quite finished that thought process yet or made that decision. The day I decided to go in there just to check on them, the workers that were in there, one was a lady and she was with her boyfriend, her living boyfriend, and it smelled like smoke in there. It smelled like smoke in the nursery. Now, I thought the only way you can work in the nursery is you was a member of the church. He was not a member of the church. His girlfriend, his living girlfriend was a member of the church, but he wasn't a member of the church. Okay, yeah, I'm talking like this is commonplace, right? With somebody shacking up, being a member of the church, working in the nursery. Okay, so I have my theory on that, but I don't know if I should be covering here in this video or not. So I went and told my husband, and I said, can I take the kids out? Because one thing, and of course, like I said, we were still trying to figure it out. And one thing in my mind, I was thinking, my child has, allergy issues, okay? And we would find out later that she has asthma. And she's in this smoky area, smoke smelling place. So we took her out. We took our kids out of there. Well, I don't even know where AJ was. He had to be born, okay? So I'm thinking he was in the other side because there was 2 separate nurseries, okay? And another thing about that nursery was we were told that we had enough women in the church to work the nursery once a month, which was a lie. It was a total lie, or I don't know if it was a lie, but I'm not sure what math they were using. They must have failed math because they didn't do very good at all. Can you play it up for me, please? Oh, excuse me. We can play it up here. Where my white extension cord at? Where my white extension cord at? Here, where my white extension cord at? Can you plug it up for me? So, basically, I'm trying to plug this up. Hopefully I can do it before it actually dies, right? Is this the right side? Is this the right side? You're trying to get on film. Okay, it is, right? Look at you. You should have waved, Alicia. I mean, whatever your name is. Of course I know what your name is. Okay. So, so that was an incident in a nursery. And then, which, I don't know, stuff happens, right? Because when they first started the nursery, okay, let me tell you this story here. Before because we only had one nursery at first, but then they decided to break it up into 2 nurseries. And they was like saying, we don't want the bigger kids hurting the smaller kids. If we separate it, it's just going to make things better. It will keep the kids safer. Soon after they did that, one boy in the nursery bit two kids, okay? One of them was my child, the one that you just seen here, my 9-year-old. And the other one was another girl. I shouldn't have said her name. I didn't say her name right, or all of her name. Kirsten. Okay, I'm just trying to mess up the name now so you won't get it. But anyway, he bit her too. Okay, he bit these 2 girls. So now they're 9 now. Okay, they'll be 10 this year. And so they were probably like 4 when they got bit. So you see how long ago that was. So the kids will be safer. The first incident, 2 of the kids get bit. Okay, by a boy. Now, then the whole thing was we had one nursery. We barely had anybody working that nursery, okay? It was like one person working in nursery all the time. And I don't think she really mind, okay? Because you can still hear the sermon. She kind of had a routine with the kids. What she did with them in the morning if you're dropping off there for Sunday school. The kids were learning that they knew what the name of the church was, who the pastor was. She was teaching them all that stuff. And then when we separated them, we basically just took her job. Like, boom, you're done. You're out of here. And we're trying to help you out. You need help, so we're going to help you out. And then took the nursery from her. then and didn't even let her be the coordinator. Basically, it would be something that it's not her jurisdiction. It is apparently the first lady's job to get this done. So she breaks these two things up. She says, we got plenty of women in church to be able to work the nursery once a month. Like I said, I don't know what kind of math they was using, but it was. So I wasn't convinced. I asked the pastor too. I was like, it's enough people? He's like, yeah, it's enough women. Yes. Yeah, it's enough. So I called a church secretary. I was like, how many women we got on the road? Who the women on it? What women we got? And I did my own little math. Okay, we got 2 services. You need at least 4 workers per service. So every week you're going to need at least 4. You're going to need 4 per service. Then you got 2 services a week. That's 8. And then 8 times 4 weeks. Okay. So, and I'm like, okay, we don't have that many women. Okay. So one thing too, and then they end up opening it up for teenagers to get involved too. And it was a mess. I even decided to be a coordinator for a while because I was trying to say, can it really work? And what was the feedback from the women? I was trying to figure out some stuff, right? And then it come to find out there's some women that shouldn't even be in the nursery because they're not really good with kids. Okay. I don't care if they had kids or not. Some people just don't want to do it. And some people are not fit to do it. And they shouldn't be doing it. So go figure. Now, so their whole idea of what they were doing, I don't know what they were doing. I don't really know. But once again, God used this to bring about his purpose. Okay. So just imagine all these millions of things had to happen to bring about this one thing. Okay. And for God's glory to be seen and for us to basically get on track on what God wanted us to do. It began to be something that was really, it became a thorn in my husband's flesh side or whatever you want to call it. And it became a draw. It was the last draw. It was like, we're done with this. Okay. So I'll tell you the day what happened. It was on a Wednesday night. We were in church. And so, I'm going to tell you this now. We have a time in a service where you go around, you shake people's hand, you fellowship. Take time to fellowship before the sermon, okay? And so the pastor did not come over there and talk to us, okay? Because at this point in time, we're breaking the rules. Because we have our kids in the sanctuary with us this Wednesday night, okay? Because we decided we're done with the nursery. We're ready to have our kids worship with us. And he did not come to speak to us. He did not. And so what he did is he sent my uncle, okay? He sent my uncle to come talk to Antonio, or to my husband, right? And he says to him, well, I didn't know what, well, he said, when he talked to him, he didn't get the response that he wanted from my husband. So he told me what he said to my husband. I said to your husband, can you please take the kids out so they won't disturb the service? I said, what did he tell you? He said, what did you tell me, bro? I think he said, bro. Because he always called him bro. That's why I'm saying that. And he said, I'll take them out if they disturb the service. I'll take them out. So that's not the answer my uncle wanted. My uncle wanted him to take him and put him in the nursery. But I was upset, of course, but I'm like, they're not even welcome here. Our kids are not even welcome in the sanctuary. So why would we be here, right? Why would our kids be here in the sanctuary if they're not even welcome here? Okay, our kids was not loud. They were sitting there. Antonio had them under control. But they didn't want them. They were not welcome in God's house. They wasn't welcome in the sanctuary. What a preaching going on. They was only welcome in the back. Put them in the back with the Gentiles. Okay, I'm just joking about that. But so I was like, can I just leave? My husband's like, yeah. So I took the kids and I went outside, and I was mad the whole time. What was I mad? Upset? I don't know what you want to call it. I'm like, I don't know how we're gonna do this. But I know if we had to be there Sunday, well, Sunday wouldn't have been that bad because it was a fifth Sunday, We'll be able to be downstairs in children's church. And our kids will be down there with us with children's church. We would teach our Sunday school and our kids will be with us in children's church. And that's what happened. Okay. But before that happened, my husband comes out of church and says, "This is my confirmation. We're done. We're not coming back here." And you should have seen my husband's face. He was all happy and stuff, just excited, because he usually be all mad and upset after the sermon. And so we ended up going to, I don't know, Bojangles, McDonald's. I can't remember. He was just happy and laughing and talking. It was just really good. And but then I said something to him. Then his countenance went back to sadness. Cause like it's kind of like Frodo. And when Sam thought he was dead, he took the ring from him. You know, when he was all wrapped up in that spider thing, right? This is from a Fellowship of the Rings, or I don't really know which one it is. Lord of the Rings, okay, one of those, one of the trilogies, okay. And so when Frodo he found out Frodo was alive, and his eyes was kind of perked up, but then he gave him back the ring, and his face went like this here. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that. So I told my husband, this is what I said to my husband. I was like, do you think we need to go back Sunday because we have children's church? He was like, yeah, you're right. So we went back Sunday, and I only had one child in my Sunday school class because all my other kids was taken from me. So I only had one child in my class. Well, that week anyway. I think I had more than one child in my Sunday school class. Still members of my class. I may have had 2 or 3. I don't know how many I had. But anyway. So I ended up talking to the girl that was there. And I let her know that we were done. And I would not be coming back. And we did children's church. And my husband did not mention anything to the kids about us not being there anymore, which I thought he would, but he didn't. He just basically got in his car. We got in the car and just left. I was expecting to tell my uncle we were done. I didn't get a chance to do that. At church, which was a weird place to do it. Should have did it over his house. I don't know. I really don't know. But it would be something where, so you have to understand, my uncle is a very sensitive guy. He gets easily upset about stuff. So he was upset that, we left. He was upset that I didn't tell him. He'll even be upset about this video, probably. And about the other foxes in the vineyard too. And he'll probably wonder, why are you doing this? Why are you doing these videos? I don't know. But it's been 22 minutes. So I want to thank those who are still listening to me rant about this one. Because this is the last one of the vineyards. But I do need to wrap it up, right? So what's my takeaway with this one here about the mandatory nursery? I don't think I have any at this point. I think I did mention one at the beginning, but my mind, I don't remember. Okay, so isn't it terrible? But your kids is your responsibility. Okay, if I would, they're still your responsibility. Okay, you have to stand before God one day of how you stewarded those kids. Okay, so, oh yeah, so I guess, you want to rather obey God than man. So the mandatory nursery, the mandatory youth ministry, these are not scripturally based. So if you believe that your child will be better served in the sanctuary to understand, because just explaining to your child certain things is just not enough. And then you can coach your kids, because if you're thinking about taking your kids out of a nursery environment or youth ministry, you take your kids home, sit them on the couch, explain to them how the service work and what you expect them to be doing in the church. And also, if you have a time where you want them to greet people, teach them how to shake people's hand, how to look people in the eye, things like that. Coach the kids through this. Okay? And let them know, set an expectation with your kids while you're at home. Run through some scenarios. Look here, it's going to be a man up there preaching, however you want to say it. Call his name. So-and-so. He's the pastor God has placed here to tell us about himself, about God. And we learn the things about God. And we're going to be here to worship God. And we want you to, this is a time where you blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? You sit down at home with your kids and tell them this stuff. So then when they in church, threaten them if you have to. I'm going to beat your tail if you don't sit your tail down in there. Or if I got to take you out, I'm going to beat you. Okay? Whatever. I use the word beat. Don't beat your kids. Discipline them. Okay? Discipline them how you see fit. Okay? So, now I use the term, I tell my kids, I'm going to beat your tail. That's what I say. But they just mean I'm going to whoop them. That's what it means. The graphic word I use. Boy, I'll beat your tail so bad, you're going to be in the middle next week. Yeah, it's just, I use a lot of language and stuff like that. And my kids know that because I've actually told them I'm exaggerating. I don't want you to think I'm going to beat you into the middle of next week. I just want you to have an effect. I want to have an effect on you. Be like, wow, I do not want to get a whooping. I don't want my mama to whoop me. Okay. So it's just really more for theatrics and for drama. And my kids know it. Okay. But our kids do sit. Now, our 3-year-old, she's quiet in church now. Don't get me wrong. But she tends to think that she want to sit with me. She'll come sit with me for like 5 minutes. Then she want to go sit with her daddy for like 5 or 6 minutes. Or then she want to go sit with Malcolm for 5 or 6 minutes. Sometimes she want to sit with Miss Smallwood for 5 or 6 minutes. So, and sometimes she'll sit the whole time with Miss Smallwood. Because sometimes Miss Smallwood be having a little tablet and let her play on it. So, but normally she's quiet. We don't have this. She's not whining. She's not crying. She's almost 4 years old. So, and sometimes she'll sit beside me like the whole church service. I mean, those are kind of rare. But she can do it. Okay. But most of the time she like to go sit with her brother, her big brother Malcolm. And she'll hang out with him a lot. But our kids have an expectation. They know how they're supposed to act in church. Okay. You just have to work with them. Okay. So that's my takeaway from this particular video. If you're considering taking your kids out of youth ministry for whatever reason, or daycare, the nursery, it is doable. Take some time with your kids and sit in the back. Oh yeah, that's another thing too. Sit in the back, sit near the door, sit where you can easily get your kids out if they're just not ready yet. Okay, because some kids will test you. Because when we first ended up going to church we go to now, we don't have a nursery there. My son wanted to cut up, and I would take him downstairs. He'd be quiet down there. And then next Sunday, he automatically just began to cut up. So, you have one or two choices. It depends on the church, okay? This particular church, they were working with us. They know that in order to break a child like that, you're going to have to, basically, they may make some noise in the church until you can get them quiet. Okay, that's just how it is. We're just fortunate to be at a church where they work with us. We were able to. They would hear a little noise. It wouldn't bring the church on a big uproar. Okay, it didn't do that. But sometimes, but then again, my daughter, it's because she was there as an infant. Okay, always in the sanctuary, so it was easier for her. Okay, by the time she was able to even figure out, I can manipulate my mom and we'll go downstairs. By that time, I already had her trained upstairs. Okay. So, yeah. So that's the thing too. Or you can decide, I'll do this with this child for a while until they get older. And then I'm going to sit down and if I have to take them down at one time, I'm going to beat them. Okay. Okay. Once again, don't beat your child, right? You're going to discipline the child how you see fit, right? Down there. And then, give them the look that's going to put fear in them. Whatever you got to do, right? And eventually they don't want to go down anymore because they associate you taking them down there as a bad thing, okay? They don't associate it with good things anymore. It's bad that I'm going down there, so now I'm going to be quiet. Because if I don't be quiet in the sanctuary, I'm going downstairs and I'm going to get beaten. Okay? So, yeah. So thanks thank you guys for hanging in there for this 29 minute. It's almost 29 minutes now. So I'm going to probably try to do a recap. I don't know. I think I should. We'll see. But as for this one here, this episode is done.